acts of the late Mr. Msibi. So I'll be presenting some evidence extracted on the WhatsApps extracted from the late Mr. Msibi's phone. And some of it speaks for itself, some of it I'll be suggesting some inferences which other witnesses may have to clarify or refute. I would ask the Commission to bear with me a little today because this has been prepared on relatively short notice, so it may not flow as smoothly as might otherwise be the case. But let's kick off. And the first issue that I want to address is a project that seems to involve at different stages Mr. Msibi, Mr. Katiso Molefi, and Mr. Stephen Motsumi, involved in dealing in grabbers. Grabbers are technology that enable you to eavesdrop on cell phones and to extract information from cell phones. And the starting point for this topic is Mr. Nkosi's chats, Sergeant Nkosi's chats. And if we can go to page 116 of the bundle. And there we see extracted from Sergeant Nkosi's phone extracts from a chat with someone whom he describes as Sean Jacobs, or whom he has saved as Sean Jacobs, phone expert, but I think that is a typo, it should be phone expert. And at chat number 4 on the 20th of January 2023, the person who we will call Sean Jacobs, because that's what Sergeant Nkosi calls him, writes to Sergeant Nkosi, "Hello Fani, please give me a call when you have a moment. I want to know if the Swazi deal is still on the table." That is from Mr. Jacobs to Sergeant Nkosi. If we then go to page 95 of the bundle, which is Sergeant Nkosi's chats with Mr. Msibi, the late Mr. Msibi, we see in chat number 1 that Sergeant Nkosi, after receiving the message from Mr. Jacobs, forwards a screenshot of that message to Mr. Msibi. And if we go back to 116, we see that on the 23rd of January, Mr. Jacobs says, "Hello Fani, hope you're well. I have a team coming in for the demo in early February. Let me know if you guys are still interested." And Sergeant Nkosi immediately responds, "Yes, we are." That response, "Yes, we are," comes at 9:12 in the morning. If we go back to page 95, we see that Mr. Msibi tells Sergeant Nkosi in relation to the earlier screenshot of "Is the deal still on the table?" He says, "It's on the table, but they have to display. We don't want to become fools." Sergeant Nkosi responds to Mr. Msibi, "I think this time they're more ready," and he sends again the screenshot of his exchanges with Mr. Jacobs. If we then go back to page 116, we see on 27 January, "Hello Fani, hope you're well," says Mr. Jacobs. "We're available 9 to 11th February to do a demo for your team." and that too gets forwarded on page 95 from Sergeant Nkosi to Mr. Msibi. That's at 1:27 p.m. on the 27th of January. Zigzagging again back to page 117, and there are a series of chats from the 30th of January at the top of page 117 about arranging the demo. Mr. Jacob says, "Hi, Fani, please confirm the dates you're available for the demo above. As mentioned, I'll be in Johannesburg from 9 to 11 February. I have the 9th or 11th available. Demo will be at the Irene Country Lodge." Mr. Sergeant Nkosi says, "Morning, I'm confirming at 12:30. Mr. Jacob says, sends emojis indicating thanks. On the 31st, he hasn't had his confirmation. He says, "Morning, Fani, can we..." Oh, sorry, he has had his confirmation, because morning, I'm confirming at 12:30 means we will do it at 12:30. Mr. Jacobs the next day says, "Good morning, Fani. Can we please move our session to 12:30 on Thursday, as we have another team from 9 to 12? Please advise if this is okay. I don't want to create unnecessary issues for the different teams." Sergeant Nkosi says, "Okay, let me confirm with them. I will call you in 30 minutes, and thanks, I just don't want the different teams to meet each other," explains Mr. Jacobs. And if we then go, "Hi, Fani, hope you're well. We confirmed for Thursday at 12:30 at Irene Country Lodge." And on the first page of 118, "Good morning, Fani. Due to logistics issue, we had to move the venue. There's the new venue and details of it." That is on the 9th of February. And then comes a very important document. It's in chat number 3. And it relates to the demonstration that is now scheduled for the Thursday, which was the 10th of February. And that document is sent by Mr. Jacobs to Sergeant Nkosi at 7:23, and straight after sending it, he says, "Fani, can you put it on a SAPS letterhead, or your agency, you're with, we won't share it with anyone." So Mr. Jacobs is saying, can you put this draft letter on a SAPS letterhead, or if you represent some other agency, on that letterhead, we won't share it with anyone. And Sergeant Nkosi says, "So I'm signing, and then I'll put a stamp." Now, if we go to that document, it is at page 129, and it's an interesting document, the draft document, because it explains what this demonstration is all about. It is a draft that is addressed to the Ministry of Trade and Industry of the Czech Republic. And it's headed "Demonstration of Dual-Use Goods in South Africa." Entity demonstrated to, place of demonstration, and it's, Sergeant Nkosi has identified the entity who's going to get the demonstration as the South African Police, Pretoria, South Africa. The demonstrating company is a Czech company called Invasys. And Invasys are a company that specialize in high-tech security hardware and software. People who are going to do the demonstration, authorized people from Invasys, are identified. It says the demonstration will take place at the above address, suggesting that it will take place at the South African Police, Pretoria, South Africa. Throughout the demonstration, the goods will be in the hands of an authorized person, authorized by the SAPS. The following goods will be demonstrated: TELUS, that's the trademark IMSI catcher, with Tungsten trademark SWGSM A5-1 and Luna TM MITM mobile. Now, IMSI stands for International Mobile Subscriber Identity. So an IMSI catcher is something that catches a mobile identity. And in colloquial terms, it's a grabber. What it does is it's a surveillance device that mimics a legitimate cell phone tower, cellular tower. And it tricks nearby mobile phones to connect with it rather than the cell phone tower. And then you can download what is on the communications from the mobile phone that are connected to your grabber as opposed to the nearby cell phone tower. If we go to page 128, this is from the Infosys webpage, and it's Infosys advertising its solutions. And if you look under Infosys Mobile 360 trademark, it says the mobile phone is today's primary data access point. How to best access its information is a technical question. Our solutions, TELUS, Luna, Tungsten, all with trademarks, enable you to do it in any way necessary, ground-based, maritime, or airborne. So Infosys is advertising its capacity to intercept mobile phone communications from the ground, from the sea, from the air. And if we go back...
Before we go back, I thought you were going to show us where Sergeant Nkosi signs and stamps. Okay.
He does in due course sign. But if we go back, it's quite clear in this context that the Czech Republic, having a sense of responsibility in relation to this technology, will not let its companies sell it to anyone they want. It can only be sold to authorized representatives, presumably not just of foreign states, but also of foreign states with whom the Czech Republic is happy to share this sort of technology. If we go back first to the chats with Mr. Msibi, on page 97, we see Sergeant Nkosi shares that draft letter immediately with Mr. Msibi. That's at 8:37 p.m., chat number 2. That's the draft. Mr. Msibi responds to him, that's okay. If we go back to 119, we see Mr. Jacobs sending in chat number 1, sends the address at which the demo is going to take place. And in chat number 2, still on the 9th of February at 10:24 p.m., 10:24:29, just remember the 29 for later reference, Sergeant Nkosi returns the signed document. We'll look at the signed document in a minute. But 10:24:29 was when he returned it to Mr. Jacobs. If we go back to page 97, we see 2 seconds later he forwards it to Mr. Msibi, 10:24:31. That letter itself appears at page 130. And it is identical to the draft, except that Sergeant Nkosi has now signed it, given his force number, and put a SAPS stamp on it. So Sergeant Nkosi has represented to the Czech government that that Infosys will be demonstrating to the South African police, and that for this reason Infosys should be allowed to do so. If we go back to page 119, chat number 3 on the morning of the 10th, at 7 o'clock, Mr. Jacobs says, "Good morning, Fani. Thank you for the letter. I've sent it to the team. Let me know when you'll send the driver. Thanks." Sergeant, of course, he replies, "Driver's on the way." At 8 o'clock, "Hi, Fani, we're ready. Are your guys close?" And then at 1:11 the next day, "Hello, Fani. Thank you again to you and your team looking after us yesterday. Let me know if Ubaba is happy and I will drive the process from my side now." Sergeant Nkosi's response is, "Morning. We're on our way to the kingdom as we speak. I'm calling you tomorrow late." Now, the kingdom to which Sergeant Nkosi is referring is the kingdom of Eswatini. And what will emerge is that Mr. Msibi, Sergeant Nkosi, and quite possibly Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefi, will get to them later, have a plan to sell grabber technology to the kingdom of Eswatini. Now, of course, that's not what the Czech Republic has been told at all. The Czech Republic has been told that this is a demonstration for the South African Police Service. If we follow this plan, and we run down from page 120, chat 1, Mr. Jacobs says, "Thank you, sir, I'll be available for you." Chat 2, Sergeant Nkosi is responding to that earlier message, which is, "Let me know if Ubaba is happy," and he says, yes, he's happy. And then the process continues. If one goes to page 121, chat number 7, the foot of the page, "Hi, Fani, I hope you're well. We need the company name for the contract with Invisys," and Invisys, again, was the Czech company that makes this equipment. "And the email address we need to send the contract to. This will come directly from the Czech company." Over the page, "This way Ubaba is protected if anyone tries to go behind his back." "Hello, Fani, hope all is well. I'm still waiting on the info for Ubaba's company and email details." Sergeant Nkosi responds, "Sharp, I'm sending." "Hello, Fani, hope you're well. Are we still on track?" And this is now the 7th of March, and Sergeant Nkosi says, "Yes, tomorrow morning the king is having a final meeting with the old man." And that presumably would be the king of Eswatini. And Mr. Jacobs says, "Okay, great, thanks."
Cousin, maybe for the record, if we could relate this message, the king is meeting with the old man, to we are on our way to Swaziland. How do they relate in terms of dates?
Well, it wasn't we're on our way to Swaziland, it was we're on our way to the kingdom. That was the 11th of February. This is now the 7th of March. So the visit may not have been the same visit. While this was going on the 27th of February, so the request for company details, if we go back to 99, we see at chat number 3 on page 99 that Sergeant Nkosi has sent a screenshot to Mr. Msibi of Mr. Jacobs's request for company details. There is then a lengthy process that runs, it's concentrated in March, but then it starts dribbling out all the way through the rest of 2023. Starting at the top of 123 on the 14th of March, "Hi, Fani, my friend, hope you're well. Do you have any updates?" And the response of Sergeant Nkosi is, old man is coming back tomorrow morning from Swaziland. I'm sure we're going to move forward from tomorrow. We'll call you when I'm with him. The next day, at 5 p.m., Mr. Jacobs sends Sergeant Nkosi a link, which is no longer active, but reading the link and the message that follows. It is an automated Adobe document which will generate the contract that Infosys once signed. So it is a link to an Infosys site or an Infosys directory at Adobe, and it's a document that needs an e-signature. Below, Mr. Jacobs explains, hi Fani, can your lawyer please fill out this form, then we will generate the exclusive contract for Swaziland. 2 days later, hello Fani, hope you're well. Did you share the link with Ubaba's lawyer? No response. 20th March, hi Fani, any updates? Still no response. 21st of March, hi Fani, please advise if your guys had filled in the info for the link I sent. Without this, we can't send you the contract, and I don't want it to seem as if we're holding up the process. 22nd of March, hi Fani, hope everything's okay, please advise. Finally, there's a response from Sergeant Nkosi, got it sorted. Mr. Jacobs says, thanks, once they fill it in, they will get the contract. 24th of March, hi Fani, was the link completed? We haven't received any confirmation that the link has been filled in. 12th of April, hi Fani, I hope you're well. I was supposed to come to Joburg this week, but I'll have to postpone to next week. Please advise Ubaba. And Sergeant Nkosi says, okay. A few days later, hi Fani, I hope you're well. Just a note from our side. It seems that Ubaba's lawyer has not completed the link as it is, and it's now becoming embarrassing as the international company will not take us seriously. Please advise how we resolve the matter. Hello Fani, hope you're well. Is the deal for Swaziland still happening? What then happens is that Sergeant Nkosi sends a contact card. All of this is now the 23rd of May, for Mr. Jacobs to contact Mr. Msibi directly. Nothing then happens between the 8th of May and the 23rd of May and the 18th of August. Mr. Jacobs is still trying on the 18th of August. Hello, Fani, hope you're well. Did you forget about me? And he says, and Sergeant Nkosi responds, lol, no, I was speaking to Zweli yesterday. They spoke to the old man as well. We're hoping next month we would be winning. That's good news. Our team is ready. On and on it goes. Top of 126, hi Fani, hope you're well. Please call me urgently, and our people are being contacted by Swaziland, and we need to move quickly or we will lose this deal. Now, it seems that the deal was lost, because if one goes to page 112, one sees that on the 17th of October, Sergeant Nkosi forwards to Mr. Msibi a message that seems to come from a partner of Sean. My brother, I'm really disappointed. It's 111, sorry, 111, chat 4. Foot of 111, but not 112, sorry. My brother, I'm really disappointed about how things worked out on the Kingdom deal. 1 minute things are coming together, the next minute all of you are quiet. Shane, I think that should be Sean, or maybe Sergeant Nkosi has the name wrong and it's Shane, not Sean, tries to call you, but he never gets hold of you. I also tried to get hold of you, but you never come back to me. You know, there's so much more work we wanted to do with you. We have many solutions that are in demand by governments, but we want to do this deal first before we can introduce other solutions. I take it this deal is off now. And that's the last that we see of that deal. But what we do see is that in parallel with this process, Mr. Msibi, Mr. Motsumi, and Mr. Molefe are exploring other options. And that story starts on page 196.
Before we get to the news story, what are we to make of Sergeant Nkosi signing documents on behalf of SAPS and purporting to represent SAPS in future agreements with either it's an international organization or international suppliers? What inference are we to draw?
Well, I think the inference is that that's an out-and-out fraud, but it's a fraud to which everyone involved in that project is party. When everyone involved in that project with knowledge of Sergeant Nkosi's letter was also involved. But the only people that we can identify in that regard are Mr. Msibi, who's no longer alive, and Shane or Sean. We don't know who else was aware of this. We don't even know whether the Czech company were aware of who they were dealing with.
Because my concern, we're talking about a grabber here. We don't know what else. I mean, you can see one conduct where he's signing and putting a stamp and force number to allow an international organization to come and make a demonstration to private individuals in South Africa. What if it was weapons and other things that are not authorized by SAPS?
We don't know, but it is a very legitimate question, Commissioner. I mean, we did see the exchanges with the man whom he saved as Deputy President Didi Mabuza, who Mr. Mashile, I think, who seemed to have been suggesting an arms deal. We don't know where it ended.
And what does it say about the use of stamps at SAPS? I mean, if any captain or constable can just
But
put a stamp.
I think every captain must have a stamp, just because they have to use the stamp in their official duties. So, for instance, you go into your local police station to get an oath commissioned, the captain uses his stamp to commission your oath. It's how the stamp is used, and of course, a South African looking at that document would think, no, this doesn't on its face come with, this on its face doesn't confer the authority of the SAPS to deal with a grabber. But someone in the Czech Republic wouldn't have the faintest idea whether this was, how South Africans issue authority at the highest levels of SAPS or not. So the risk is particularly heightened in relation to transactions with foreign countries or with foreign entities.
Thank you.
Mr. Chaskalson, this conduct by Sergeant Nkosi that you're discussing with Commissioner Khumalo, specifically the letter and the stamping on the face of it, is obviously prosecutable. That's why you refer to it as fraudulent conduct. Have we had the opportunity to investigate or find out who is this Sean Jacobs that he's speaking to? Because if it's a South African national, then they sit in exactly the same position as Sergeant Nkosi, criminal offense. And have we had the opportunity to investigate that?
We haven't yet traced Sean Jacobs. I must confess, we haven't made a huge effort to trace Sean or Shane Jacobs. We don't have, there are no obvious details relating to him other than the cell phone number, and that doesn't automatically lead to someone who on his or her face is Sean Jacobs or Shane Jacobs.
Sergeant Nkosi would have to say who is Sean Jacobs. Thank you.
And our investigators could also look into it.
I'm not sure they will thank me for that. They have quite a lot on their plates at the moment, but we will look further. The parallel process I was describing starts at page 196, or our evidence of it starts at page 196. And there we see, on the 15th of May, Mr. Motsumi WhatsApps to Mr. Msibi 3 documents. The first 2 are photographs of his, their 2 passports. And the third is an itinerary. And the itinerary is at page 206. It's an itinerary for both Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Msibi. And it reflects a strange set of, or it reflects a broken set of connections. There's going to be a flight from Johannesburg to Frankfurt, and then a connecting flight almost immediately from Frankfurt to Paris. That will take Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsumi to arrive in Paris on the 16th of May at 8:20 in the morning. The next flight is not from Paris, it's from Hamburg in Germany, and that's 2 days later, on the 18th of May. And that is a flight from Hamburg to Zurich, and then as a connection to get back to Johannesburg from Zurich. So one imagines that Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Msibi were going to make their own way, or would make their way from Paris to Hamburg, which is relatively close, either by train or by plane, at some stage between 16 and 18 May. If we go back to the 16th of May, we see that's the day after the itinerary came. Mr. Msibi sends to Mr. Motsumi a company profile for a company which is actually a closed corporation called Femi Style CC. And the Windeed page for Femi Style is at page 347. And we see from 347 that the only director of Femi Style is Mr. Msibi himself. And according to the history of the reflected on the Windeed search, there's never been any other, sorry, it's a CC, the only member. He has always been a member, and then after the conversion into PTY Limited, the sole director. So he was the sole member, then the sole director. If we go back to the profile of Femi Style, we see that at page 208. And that profile first reflects that the directors of Femi Style are both Mr. Msibi and Mr. Molefe, not Mr. Motsumi, but Mr. Molefe. That doesn't appear to be correct, at least not in terms of the CRPC records. CRPC records just reflect Mr. Msibi, but Mr. Molefe's appearance on this document is significant in its own right. Then it says the company vision: to be the #1 trusted intelligence security services provider in Southern Africa and beyond. Its mission, over the page, to provide security services through protecting clients' valuable assets through preventative protection services, private detectives and investigators, consulting, technical surveillance, digital polygraph, and covert operations. There are certain core values set out, including integrity and professionalism. And then the background. FemiStyle is a security consultant company whose primary objective is to offer technical support, advice, training, report compilation, and procurement of needed security systems. We ensure that state-owned assets are up to date with the latest security systems, tools, trends, and technology. We further identify and eradicate potential security threats and act as an agent who shall be capable of negotiating and entering into agreements on behalf of companies. Over the page, there are certain services that FemiStyle advertises: improved security management, improved risk management, provide secure security systems, provide cross-border security detail, specialist security training, improve on reported security test results, analyze security systems and measures, improve design, implement and monitor all security protocols, policies, and procedures. So FemiStyle is presenting itself as a state-of-the-art high-tech security company with surveillance capacity, and as a company that provides services to the state. We ensure that state-owned assets are up to date with the latest security systems, tools, trends, and technology. If we go back to page 197, we see that together with the company profile, Mr. Msibi forwards to Mr. Motsumi an email, and that email is at page 211. Sorry, it's the first chat at the top, page 197, where the email's forwarded, but the email itself appears at 211. And the email is an email that is on an email whose default is German, because it says at the top in German at 15 May 2023 at 2020, Nokotula Malo wrote, but it's in German, not English. And Ms. Malo says, "Dear Stefan, please find attached registration documents," and you'll see at the bottom of the email is a CRPC form for FemiStyle, confirming Mr. Msibi as the director of the company. Mr. Motsumi is a trusted partner in the business, and bear in mind that this is with a view to the itinerary that we've just seen that has a stop in Hamburg in Germany, and which involves Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsumi. Please be assured that they both have the capacity and mandate to conduct business on behalf of the company, so Mr. Motsumi too can represent FemiStyle. They shall present the letter of appointment and service level agreement from state. So they are purporting to have a service level agreement from a state. Confidentiality protocol as stated below is noted and shall be strictly adhered to. Now, again, we have a situation where a European dealer, and we will look at what we suspect was being sold here. but a dealer in high-tech security surveillance equipment and the like is being told that Mr. Msibi and somebody else represent a state. There is then on the 16th of May a series of itineraries, additional itineraries and changes, none of which are of consequence for us. But the next step, and bear in mind this is 16 May where the 15, 16 May, the original itinerary related to a trip from 16th to 18th May. If we then go to page 185, we're now dealing with the chats between Mr. Molefe, not Mr. Motsumi, but Mr. Molefe and Mr. Msibi. And at page 185, we see that on the 4th of June, Mr. Molefe, in other words, that's about just over 2 weeks after the proposed return from Zurich, from Europe, Hamburg via Zurich. Mr. Molefe forwards to Mr. Msibi in chat number 5 a quotation. And that quotation we see at page 193. And the quotation has a number. Femi Style are identified as the agent of whomever is providing the quotation. We don't see the letterhead, so we don't know what the company is, whose quotation it is. The date of the quotation is 23rd May. So that would have been 4 days after Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsumi returned from Europe. And what the quotation is for, item 1, active monitoring system including laptop software and one multi-RAT BTS. That's multi-radio access technology-based technology system. That is a grabber. Item 1 is a grabber. The unit per the price per unit for the grabber is 780,000 euros, which at the time would have been, gosh, I haven't done the equation, but it would have been somewhere between 15 and 18 million rands, I would imagine. Optional, 2 multi-rat BTSs. So you could have an additional extra set of grabbers which would come at 150,000 per unit. And you could also get a tactical DDS jammer. And a DDS stands for direct digital synthesis, and what a DDS jammer is digital technology that can essentially block out other, can be trained on particular frequencies very quickly and can block out other people's mobile communications. So you can shut off everybody else's mobile access with a jammer. That quotation is issued by Femi Style, a company in which Mr. Motsumi, Mr. Molefe, and Mr. Msibi have a central role in, and it comes 5 days after the 4 days after the return from Europe of Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsumi. And we don't see what becomes of this quotation, whether it ever gets taken up by anyone. We don't know to whom it was addressed either. We do know that it was exchanged between Mr. Molefe and Mr. Msibi. But if we can just step back and take stock at what we're looking at here, because it is quite alarming. Mr. Msibi, Mr. Motsumi, Mr. Molefe, and possibly Sergeant Nkosi are involved. Well, Sergeant Nkosi is certainly involved with Mr. Msibi in one project. Mr. Msibi, Mr. Motsumi, and Mr. Molefe are involved in another. The extent to which Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefe were involved in the first project is not clear. Anyway, they're involved in a commercial project. The commercial project involves the selling of high-tech surveillance, digital surveillance systems and jamming technology. The three people we're talking about have received some coverage in this commission. Mr. Msibi has been described by General Kumalo, who's the head of crime intelligence, as the then leader of the Big Five organized crime cartel. Mr. Molefe is currently on trial for murder in a matter involving firearms that can be linked to more than 30 other murder scenes in Gauteng in the last 5 years. Mr. Motsumi is someone whose name General Sonona, when he was still head of the Hawks, was too scared to mention. These three men are dealing with foreign companies to get access to grabber technology purporting to represent a state. And then, at least in the case of Mr. Msibi, they seem to be looking to sell that technology to the Eswatini government. In that first episode, the first case that we saw. Whether or they didn't manage, it seems, in that case, to sell to the Eswatini government, they may well have managed in this case, we just don't know. But whether or not they are managing to sell the technology to a foreign state, they presumably can also have access to it for their own purposes. They are able to deal with the providers of this technology. They are being invited to sign contracts with the providers of this technology, in the case of Infosys, on the basis that they represent the South African state. This is a worrying state of affairs, a very worrying state of affairs. This is the sort of technology that should only go into the hands of intelligence agencies who are then constrained to use it under fairly strict legislative controls. But what we have here is private parties passing themselves off as representatives of states and trading in this, or trying to trade in this technology.
Mr. Chaskalson, that brings me to the question that I was going to ask. And I know that the presentation of this evidence today has been sprung on you. The question I meant to ask is, have we gone so far as to establish whether private entities and individuals can lawfully be in possession under South African law of a jammer and a grabber? Have we gone that far?
A jammer I can't speak to. A grabber, I can say with some confidence, is not something that any private entity ought lawfully to be entitled to use, because digital surveillance, interception of communications, which is what a grabber is for, is something regulated by statute, which requires judicial warrant. And judicial warrants are not given to private parties to intercept communications.
Are we able to get that on affidavit from a witness who's part of the government, or intelligence agencies.
I will look into it, and we will, one way or another, we will establish this point. It may be a simple issue of law, having regard to the interception. I think it's called the Interception of Communications Act. But
I'm concerned about the types, because it may be that some are regulated and therefore members of the public are not or should not be able to access them. But some devices may be allowed for use by private entities, mobile companies, and other people. So if we can just get that clarity from somebody who has knowledge of these kinds of things, to avoid having to burden you with the answers.
No, we will certainly get an expert in the field to explain this all to us.
We don't want to force you to do research and give us answers. If an expert is able to provide us with an affidavit, then I think that should suffice.
We will ensure that it's done. That takes us to the end of this grabber episode. The next.
Before you go to the next, I know you're not a witness, and you're not, and you're not an expert in this. I'm trying to wrap my head around a jammer. It's against a grabber. I think I've understood how a grabber would work. A jammer would do what? Would at least
block communications.
For criminal activity.
Well, I mean, at a very low level, a jammer stops your remote control on your car from locking your car when you get out the car. So a lot of small-time criminals have access to jammers which are used, and I'm sure some of us have had that experience. You get out your car, you think you've locked it, you haven't locked it because the signal's been jammed and someone steals something from your car while you've gone into the shop. At a much more grand scale, what a jammer can do is block communications, can stop people communicating on their cell phones. It essentially can block communication that depends on operating at particular frequencies.
It could block law enforcement from listening in.
Certainly on, yeah.
Thank you.
No, please continue, Mr. Shaskalson.
Chair, it looks like you have been the victim of a small-scale jammer. I have too.
Well, I was whispering to my co-commissioners about the incident at Parliament where everybody's devices were jammed.
That's much
allegedly.
If it happened, it was much grander than my experience. I just lost a briefcase. The next topic that I want to move to is actually a series of topics, but what was extraordinary about this phone was it drew connections between topics that we've been looking at in this commission that seemed completely self-contained and unrelated to one another. And Mr. Msibi was often, crossing over in relation to people involved in one aspect of our investigation and people involved in another wholly separate one. So let's take as our start, Carnilinks, the tobacco manufacturer whom we came across in the context of General Khan's communications, who pleaded guilty to schemes essentially to defraud SARS, didn't plead guilty, admitted. They weren't ever taken to a criminal court. Admitted to schemes, fraudulent schemes to defraud SARS of tobacco taxes, and whose director, Mr. Sayed, was in close contact with General Khan and appeared to be trying to rig tenders with General Khan through the COVID period. If we go to page 5, we see communications between another director of Carney Links, Mr. Kyle Phillips, and Mr. Msibi. And we see a connection between Carney Links and Mr. Msibi. And what we see in these chats, we see a number of things, but essentially what we see is that when Carney Links gets robbed, they call up Mr. Msibi to sort it all out and find out who's robbed them and get their stock back. And if we go to page 5, we see that on the 26th of February, Mr. Phillips writes to Mr. Msibi, "Hey, Papa Joe, thanks for sorting out. Just tell us where to collect, but please ask if they can recover the firearms as well." So in this theft, which we will see, is a theft of stock. Firearms seem to have been...
Papa Joe is who? Mr. Jotham Msibi.
Jotham Msibi. And from chats 3 to 6 at page 5, we see a series of chats from either the robber himself or someone pretending to have inherited the stock from the robber. And those chats are hang on, unfortunately I've lost my reference. So those chats get increasingly desperate now that the robber understands that Mr. Msibi is onto the job. So they start at page 22. And the first one says, "Hi," to which Mr. Phillips responds, "Hi, can't talk, send message, I'm at work." "It's me, Ali, I want to talk to you. Brother, I want to give back that stock. I want to talk to you. Call me. I made a mistake to buy that stock. I just want to ask, there's one of my friends, can I give him that stock so that he can give you?" Then on the following page, the chats continue. Same chat. "I want to be sure if he speaks to boss that I'll give him. Please, brother, talk, brother, say something. What must I do? You're not saying anything." Then there are a couple of missed calls. "Talk to me only for a minute." And the response is, "Send the stock at our factory." "Just talk to me on call, please, for 1 minute." So whoever Ali is, whether he's the robber or the purchaser from the robbers or somehow otherwise linked to the stock and the robbery, he is desperately wanting to make it better. If we go back to the chats, we see possibly why Ali is so desperate. And if we see at the chat number 2, Mr. Phillips says, "Hey, Papa Joe, the guy's been contacting my guys. I said they must deal with you if you don't mind. Thank you for all your help." And Mr. Msibi responds, "Hi, Kyle. He spoke to me yesterday at night. He told me the cigar is on your street next to your factory, but he promised to come. I'm also waiting. It's okay as long as he brings back the stuff. Yes, his name is Ali. That's the name he gave me." And then if we go down to chat 6, afternoon, Papa Joe, all stock is returned. Thank you so much. Everything is sorted. Cool Cow, we'll see you guys on Thursday. And Phillips responds, we're now on the 1st of March, you're the man. And Mr. Msibi says, cool, we'll not stand out when you guys have got this problem. We'll try to assist where I can. So Mr. Msibi saying, when you've got this sort of problem in the future, I'm here to help you. We go all the way down to page 11, and we're now on the 6th of June. And Mr. Phillips in chat number 2 says to Mr. Msibi, Papa Joe, I'm so sorry. I think I had one vodka too many last night. Myself and Adriano would be Adriano Mazzotti, who is actually the deponent to the affidavit that was flighted in relation to the agreement with SARS. Mr. Mazzotti is the, I think, the CEO of Carney Links. He's certainly the leader of Carney Links. Have spoken quite a bit about sorting you as a thank you for getting that stock back. But I did not want to interfere with your mourning process and worry you with trivial money issues, so please don't take it as any disrespect or discounting our friendship. So this week, we'll come and have a drink and square up with you. Thanks for everything, my brother. If we go down to 3 August, it seems that Mr. Phillips had another occasion to call on the assistance of Mr. Msibi. It's now page 14, chat 3, 9:34 p.m. Mr. Phillips writes to Mr. Msibi, your soldiers arrived, I owe you, my brother. Mr. Msibi says, cool. And next chat, I'm sorry, I had to say they didn't know who they were fucking with. Your boys were brilliant. Thank you again so much, my brother. So it seems that there was some sort of arrangement between Carney Links and Mr. Msibi that when Carney Links got into, or when there were thefts or robberies at Carney Links, Mr. Msibi helped them out. There is a curious exchange on the 22nd of October, it's at page 16, and I must confess, but because this was sprung on us on such short notice, we don't have the complete explanation of this exchange. We will look into it and come back to you. But if we go to chat 5, Mr. Phillips says to Mr. Msibi, how are you, my brother? Do you know anybody wanting red water with capital R and capital W, 25-litre drums? Now, we've been given a whole range of possibilities as to what red water may refer to. The one most likely possibility, and I'm not saying that it is, but the most likely possibility is water used by Zamazamas, water with mercury in it that is used by Zamazamas in part of the artisanal gold refining process. But it may well not, there may be an innocent explanation for red water. We might ask Mr. Phillips. How are you, my brother? You know anybody wanting red water, 25-litre drums? Mr. Msibi responds, hi, my brother, I'm out of South Africa. On our side, we're strong. In other words, we don't need red water. But we'll check who might take. Have a great one, my brother. And then later on, no stress, my brother, looks like it was sold. So the red water seems to have found a buyer. Then, if we go down to 21, we see another request for assistance from Mr. Msibi in relation to an armed robbery. Morning, Papa Joe. Brother, I need your help. That same guy, Ali, arranged an armed robbery at our other factory, or at Wadeville. The security guards were in on it. Obviously, my people are now hunting high and low, but I know that one call from you will sort everything out. Please, will you help me out again with this? Love and regards, Kyle. Now, those are the chats between Mr. Phillips and Mr. Msibi that I wanted to refer to, but what struck us as significant in this regard is we had seen no links whatsoever between what we saw in General Khan's chats and his dealings with Carney Links on the one hand, and what we'd been looking at for most of the Commission in relation to the so-called Big Five and Mr. Msibi, but it seems that at the very least there are some relations between, or there were some relations between Mr. Msibi and Carney Links.
Yesterday, in his testimony, Mr. Matlala explained how he got to know quite a number of people, and he said he met most of them at Mr. Msibi's farm. And I remember thinking, I never thought this person, like, for example, Mr. Karim, if the allegation is correct, of course, had anything to do with the farm. Quite a number of people.
Indeed, we will get to, there are a whole series of unexpected connections that we see here. Mr. Karim is one of them. His joint venture with Ziggy Investments and Transnational Coaches is dealing with Mr. Msibi. We'll come to it later. But the next one is possibly another unexpected link, but albeit through someone who we have already seen linked to Mr. Msibi. It's a link between Mr. Msibi and Ekurhuleni, which certainly we weren't expecting. But if we go to page 141, we see that Mr. Msibi appears to have used Mr. Nxumalo, who is someone who we previously have met in connection with Mr. Msibi, to rig a tender for him at Ekurhuleni. And if we start at page 141, chat number 3, we see, and these are chats between Mr. Msibi and Mr. Nxumalo. We see at chat number 3, this is now the 26th of April 2023, that Mr. Msibi sends to Mr. Nxumalo a chat where he says the following: 1, Camproc Pty Limited. 2, Project Management Unit for BRT project. 3, the Project Management Unit contract is funded by the National Department of Transport through the City of Ekurhuleni. 4, the project management contract is under the Department of Transport and Fleet Management in the city. That's the 26th of June. On the 30th of June, Mr. Nxumalo sends anniversary greetings.
Sorry, this is 26th
So 30th
of
April. Sorry, April. Sends anniversary greetings to Mr. Msibi. Mr. Msibi thanks him and says, have you spoken to Jose, please? And the Ekurhuleni issue, please let me know. So Mr. Msibi is very interested in the Ekurhuleni issue. Mr. Nxumalo responds the next day, hi Ndlondo, please give me until Tuesday, all will be well. Please send Camproc's number. In other words, I need a number for Camproc, which is the company that you described. Then on the 5th of April, the 4th of May, Mr. Msibi sends a number. And unfortunately, I don't think that we have in the bundle that contact card. We'll get it put into the bundle. That contact card, the number is for Nokuthula Nxumalo, who we remember was the one dealing with Stefan in Germany in relation to the trip, presumably to look for grabbers for Themi style. Underneath, having sent Ms. Nxumalo's number to Mr. Nxumalo, Mr. Msibi says, "Hi there, have sent you the number, please follow up. Can I send Galito to pick up as agreed, son?" And Galito, we know from earlier on, is Mr. Sibanda, who worked as a cook for Mr. Msibi. May 29th, Mr. Msibi wants to be called back. And the next development is the 13th of June, and that's on page 143. And there, Mr. Nxumalo sends to Mr. Msibi a WhatsApp in chat number 3 at 8:43 in the morning, which forwards the tender advertisement for this project management unit that Mr. Msibi wanted for Camprock. And if we go to page 149, we see what was forwarded. And I must immediately just emphasize that what was actually forwarded was the entire bid invitation that ran to probably over 100 pages. So just to simplify the bundle, I just included the cover page. But there you see Transport and Fleet Management Department, contract number PSPT 17 of 2023, the provision of project management unit and technical services for the Department of the City of Ekurhuleni Integrated Rapid Public Transport Network from date of award until 30 June 2026. So if we go back to that opening chat in April, we see that what Mr. Msibi had said to Mr. Nxumalo is Camprock Pty Limited, project management unit for BRT project, PMU contract funded by the National Department of Transport through the City of Ekurhuleni. PMU contract is under the Department of Transport and Fleet Management in the city. So as early as April, Mr. Msibi had identified that this contract should be put out to tender by Ekurhuleni for the benefit of Camprock. If we go back to the chat from Mr. Nxumalo of the 13th of June, we see that he forwards it to Mr. Msibi with a message that he appears to have, I say he appears to have sent to someone, although we will see that he denies it. And the message says, "This one isn't a panel. Is it spoken for? I have 2 people asking." So this is a bid invitation, and someone, either Mr. Nxumalo or someone communicated with Mr. Nxumalo, is saying, is this one spoken for? We asked Mr. Nxumalo who we assumed he had written those words, and if one goes to page 170, paragraph 2.4, we'll see that the question that we asked Mr. Nxumalo in this regard, and the question was, full details of the person to whom you originally wrote, "This one isn't a panel, is it spoken for? I have 2 people asking," appearing in the WhatsApp message that you forwarded to Mr. Msibi on 13 June 2023 at 8:43, and we attached the message. The response that we got is at page 175 and is, with respect, rather evasive. It says the following, paragraph 14. The message referred to in paragraph 2.4 of the notice reads, "This one isn't a panel. Is it spoken for? I have 2 people asking." It appears that item number 3 of the extract attached to the notice as Annexure B, dated 13 June 2023 at 8:43, and is accompanied by an image of the document. The document appears to be the bid document for contract PSPT 1723 issued by the Transport and Fleet Management Department of the City of Ekurhuleni for the provision of a project management unit and technical services for the development of the City of Ekurhuleni integrated rapid public transport network. A copy is attached here to as ZN2. Thus far, Mr. Nxumalo has told us nothing other than what we told him. I identified the contract by conducting an internet search of the contract number for the purpose of preparing the statement. I had no independent knowledge of it, he says. Well, he emailed that bid invitation to Mr. Msibi on that day. I have no recollection of the circumstances in which it came to be sent, and I'm accordingly unable to identify the person to whom the words were originally addressed or from whom I may have received them. If this message is true, if the statement is true, it is truly staggering that Mr. Nxumalo is dealing with people who send messages purporting to rig tenders on such a frequent basis that he can't remember this one. 17, I record for the Commission's assistance that item 3 of the extract is marked incoming, whereas the notice proceeds on the basis that I wrote those words and forwarded the message to the late Mr. Msibi. It was incoming for Mr. Msibi. I do not believe that this proposition is correct. If the message illustrates that it had been forwarded to the late Mr. Msibi, then it would be on the basis that I had received the message with the aforesaid question and thereafter forwarded the same to the late Mr. Msibi. So he says, well, maybe somebody else wrote those words, but I forwarded them to Mr. Msibi. Additionally, I dispute I was the author of the aforesaid message, as it's not my manner of typing. I do not use abbreviations such as PPL in the normal course. As indicated, I cannot determine with certainty who would have sent me the aforesaid message and the context in which this would have been shared with me or the late Mr. Msibi. However, given the prominent role of the late Mr. Msibi in the public transport industry, together with my involvement in brokering transactions within and for the taxi industry, I would have shared the document with him so as to inquire as whether he'd be interested in the bid. For the sake of completeness, I record I had no involvement in the bidding or award process of the aforesaid contract by the City of Ekurhuleni. So he is claiming ignorance. He can't really explain why he would have forwarded a document to Mr. Msibi that on its face assumes that tenders in Ekurhuleni are spoken for before they are awarded. Still less why he would have done so in circumstances where 2 months previously Mr. Msibi had identified that very specific contract as something he wanted him to deal with.
In communication to him?
In communications to him, absolutely. He also can't really explain something that happens a little later, which is page 144, chat number 2. In fairness to him, he hasn't seen these chats, so he had only his own chats to consult in his memory. But at 24 minutes past, at 24 October, chat number 2, Mr. Nxumalo notifies Mr. Msibi that PMU, that's the project management unit tender, has been submitted for this week's BEC. Department has confirmed. So he's following that tender and knows that it's gone to the BEC. And lo and behold, if we find out where the tender was awarded, we go to the Ekurhuleni web page of bids awarded in November 2023. That starts on page 150. And if we go down to the top of page 163, we see that the successful bidder in relation to the provision of a project management unit and technical services for the development of the City of Ekurhuleni integrated rapid public transport network from date of award until 30 June 2026 was none other than Camproc Pty Limited, who had been nominated by Mr. Msibi in April of that year. There is one further issue to address in relation, one possibly two, in relation to this tender. It's a chat on page 143.
Taskelson, who owns Camproc?
And here I must actually fess up and say that in my rush to get this stuff together, I haven't actually, we can do a Windeed search, we'll have that after tea.
But those would be public documents.
They are
It's a
public
matter of
documents.
just adding them to the bundle. It's a
Sorry,
matter of just adding them to the bundle.
indeed, we will do so.
Do we also know from the earlier chat that Nobuthula Nxumalo is associated with Camp Rock?
Indeed, and if needs be, I can also get that contact card printed out over the tea break. Can I ask that we, in that respect, that we actually take an extended tea break just for me to attend to these logistical issues? We're scrambling a little bit, and we're certainly not going to run beyond lunch today, so it's not like we will lose time by that.
Also adjourn now, or?
We could adjourn now because I'm going on to a slightly related but.
Okay. So when you say extended, would 11:30
When we-
be fine, or do you want later than 11:30?
I think 11:30 would be fine.
11:30. All right. Let's adjourn and resume at 11:30. Yes, Mr. Chancellor.
Chair, first of all, apologies for the delay, but we have found some supplementary documents, and the first of those is at page 365. That is the contact card that is the contact card of Mr. Malo, and it was attached to it's what was sent in chat number 2 on page 142.
Are those still to be shared? Because what we have runs up to 364.
Sorry, Chair, have you been given extra documents yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh. This exercise has been, then I'll come back to this once someone arrives with the documents. I apologize for that.
No problem.
Apparently they're being copied. There are a range of follow-up messages that are streaming in relation to grabbers, but we will. I don't think I'll try and deal with them on the fly. We'll get an expert to put a statement in, but everybody is telling me emphatically that no one may possess, use, sell anything in relation to no private person may do anything of that nature with a grabber. We'll pick up in due course in relation to the documents relating to Ms. Malo and also to Mr. Adams, Mr. Jacobs.
Sorry, do you want to find out if those are the documents?
They are indeed. So
Yes.
let's quickly distribute them. Have they been punched?
We now have 365 to 377.
That's correct, Chair. So if I can start with 365, that is the contact card that was sent on 4 May 2023 from Mr. Msibi to Mr. Nomalo.
And
At page 142.
Is it practical to flight these? Do you already have them in electronic format? In an electronic format?
We may be able to flight them. I just want to be careful that we don't flight anybody's phone number. Would it be, have you redacted?
IDs, please, Mr. Chaskalson.
And IDs in the win deed in the next document is a public document, but we can, let's just see if it can be done.
Or you could move on to something else whilst this.
Yes, I'm not sure we have redacted copies.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe
move on to something else.
I will do that.
Yes.
Still on the Kureleni connection, which we had got to. While the Camprock bid is pending, if we go to page 92, we see that at chat number 4, on 23 September 2023, and remember the bid was awarded in November and Mr. Msibi had identified it in April. On the 23rd of September, chat number 4, Mr. Motsumi sends a contact card to Mr. Msibi, and that contact card is at page 93. And again, just check that it's redacted. Okay. It's the contact card for Ms. Mashazi, who was then the city manager of Ekurhuleni and who has appeared before this commission, and whose connection with Mr. Msibi was previously unknown. Having received the contact card for Mr. Msibi, for Ms. Mashazi, Mr. Msibi then on the 25th of September called her. That's at page 26. And these are the chats between Mr. Msibi and Ms. Mashazi. And at the top of page 26, you'll see there was a call on the 25th of September at 12:53, to which Ms. Mashazi responded, "Thanks, Baba," at 12:59, and Mr. Msibi said, "Cool, Sesi," at 1 o'clock. Obviously, we don't know what that call was about. There is another issue where we were hoping to get some clarity from Mr. Nxumalo, which happened while this bid was pending. That is to be found at page 143. And you'll recall that at the top of page 143, well, near the top of chat number 3, there was the message from Mr. Nxumalo to Mr. Msibi. This one isn't a panel. Is it spoken for? I have 2 people asking, and then the front page of the tender. At chat number 6, there was another message that caught our eye, because Mr. Nxumalo writes to Mr. Msibi, "Euro banks closed at 4 p.m. We've locked the trade, so she will receive 46,256 euros and 98. I'm not sure whether it's cents or centimes that are the cents for the euro. Now that's just under R1 million. We did do the exchange rate there, and it was roughly 18 rands to the euro, so this came in at just under R1 million. And Mr. Msibi responded, "You're the best, my boy." We were curious as to who was getting this payment in euros, so we asked Mr. Nxumalo, and that question is at page 170.
170.
170. Where we asked for the full details of the person whom you refer to as she in your WhatsApp message to the late Mr. Msibi on 19 August 2023 at 10:26, when you stated Eurobanks closed at 4 p.m. We've locked the trade, so she will receive 46,256.98 first thing on Monday, which message also appears in the extract of WhatsApp chats between yourself and the late Mr. Msibi, which was attached to our notice. Unfortunately, if not unsurprisingly, Mr. Nxumalo couldn't help us. His answer was at page 177. Paragraph 21. The message referred to in paragraph 2.5 reads, Eurobanks closed at 4 p.m. We've locked the trade, so she will receive 46,256.98 first thing on Monday. It appears that item 6 of the extract dated 16 August 2023 and is likewise marked incoming. I have no recollection of this message, of the trade to which it refers, or of the person referred to as she. I'm accordingly unable to furnish the details sought in paragraph 2.5 or 2.6. At best, I simply recall that the late Mr. Msibi had dealings in foreign countries, the intricate details of which, however, I have no personal knowledge. Should the Commission be in possession of further material relating to this message, including any further portion of the chat extract, I request it be furnished to me, and I undertake to supplement this statement promptly upon receiving it. Well, we haven't written back to Mr. Nxumalo yet, but he's now seen what we know in relation to this trade, and maybe it might jog his memory. That is the end of the Ekurhuleni connection. That takes us to the connection with Mr. Karim, who we heard from Mr. Matlala yesterday, was a visitor to the farm.
Ms. Chaskason, before you leave the Ekurhuleni, I think to be fair, we do know that there's conversations between Mr. Msibi and Ms. Mashazi, and then there's this chat that refers to a she receiving money. We have not established that the she is her, because if we
not at all. No.
If it as an Ekurhuleni connection, it may create the impression that it refers to her. So just
No. Yeah, we were hoping Mr. Nxumalo would clarify that for us, but he can't. As things stand, we have no evidence. We will try to clarify that. We, in particular, will go to the Reserve Bank and see if they can trace details in relation to that trade. Moving then to Mr. Karim. We learned yesterday that he was a visitor to Mr. Msibi's farm. We didn't know about that previously. But what we do see is some connection between his joint venture through his company Ziggy Investments and a company Transnational Coaches on the one hand, and Mr. Msibi, and that a joint venture linked to Mr. Msibi is addressed in a series of chats that run from page 272 onwards. And we haven't been able to identify who the counterparty is. But the counterparty appears to be linked or to have contact with the Paruk family, P-A-R-U-K, who is the family that apparently controls Transnational Coaches, that was in a joint venture with Mr. Karim. And those chats evidence a number of things. The first is communications in relation to the status of the subsidized bus transportation contracts that were many years ago the sole preserve of PUTCO. And if we start on these chats, we see the beginning of the chat is preoccupied with communications relating to what appears to be a bid involving Mr. Msibi for one of these subsidized contracts. So on page 273, starting at chat number 6, we see Good Morning Ndlonto, confirmed tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Sandton City, and underneath that, the sender sends to Mr. Msibi a copy of the bid for, the new bid for one of these subsidized transport contracts, and the document itself that is attached is there at page 285, and what it is a series of tenders which are invited for the supply of quality road-based subsidized public transport services for Gauteng province, and there are 8 of these routes that are put out to tender, one in Soweto, one in Hammanskraal, Tembisa Tsakani Vosloorus is the 3rd, Soshanguve is the 4th, Mabopane Garankuwa, Sebokeng, Orange Farm, Lenasia, Atridge, Willem, Mamelodi, and 2, maybe 3 of those traverse areas which were previously under the control of, well, originally Bophuthatswana, then the Northwest, and in respect of which the Northwest Transport Parastatal, who will come to at a later stage, had been running these contracts on buses that were rented to it by the Ziggy Transnational Coaches joint venture. Then we see on the next page, 274, at the top of the page, Mr. Msibi sends a screenshot. Sorry, that's not at the top of the page. Let's take it one step at a time. There is a screenshot on 270, sorry, before we get to the screenshot, I'm sorry, I'm losing my notes here. At 274, the sender sends to Mr. Msibi requirements of what the subcontractor is going to need: CSD, BE level, operating license, routes that are given to the subcontractor with financial amounts, and percentage of the network subcontracted. Then in chat number 4.
Sorry, should we not be flighting this?
It's chat 2, page 274. Sorry. Okay. We may have again redaction problems, but they won't affect the next issue. So chat 2. These are the requirements that the sender forwards to Mr. Msibi: CSD, BE level, operating license, routes that will be given to the subcontractor with financial amounts, percentage of network subcontracted. Mr. Msibi then in chat number 4 sends back details of presumably the entity, his entity that's going to be the subcontractor, and that is Themi Style again, the company that we've seen previously. It is that particular image that he sends back appears at page 287. We then get a series of further exchanges, but the one that is of significance is that we get, the sender sends a message. Well, first we get details. There is a letter at the foot of page 275 that is sent. sorry. Apologies, Chair, my notes are out completely. It's actually at the top of 275 that the letter is sent. It's chat number 1. And that is a message from the State Attorney saying that the Minister is going to abide a dispute that is before court in relation to the existing contract, because PATCO has taken the Minister to court over the decision to put the tender out afresh. And the Minister has decided to abide that. That letter we see at page 287.
That's,
Sorry, 288. And if we scroll further down, we see that the Minister of Transport has indicated in a written communique here to attach for ease of reference that he's withdrawn his concurrence to advertise the new tender. Our instructions are therefore that the tender and the evaluating of bids must be placed on hold. The Minister's also party to the proceedings. This is PATCO's interdict. In the light of the above instruction, we will not file our counter application. Going back to 275, the counterparty says, "Good day, Ndlondlo. The decision of the Minister has now been officially implemented and has been made known to the public." We go over to the next page, and the name, and yeah, we are redacted. On the 19th of February, the name of a member of the Paruk family with his ID number and his Mauritian phone number are forwarded to Mr. Msibi. And on the 21st of February, the judgment in the interdict is handed down, and PATCO, that judgment is in the bundle at page, I think it's 289, from 289, and PATCO is successful, sorry, 290. No? Sorry, 294, and PATCO is successful. So PATCO, if we go down to the order, we see that the state respondents are interdicted from taking any further action in the advancement of the impugned tender. So PATCO manages to prevent new contracts being processed, and it remains the incumbent. We then see the emergence of the link to Mr. Karim and Ziggy Investments, because at the top of, and again, we don't fully understand the arrangements that are in place, but at the top of page 277, there is a payment. Proof of payment is sent to Mr. Msibi in chat 1. And that proof of payment at 313 is a payment of 700,000 rands from transnational coach lines to Santaco, the South African National Taxi Association. And if we go back to page 277, we see in chat 3 that the sender is saying, now I'm waiting for the 300,000. So the payment should have been $1 million, but it was 300,000 short. And the explanation that comes is furnished in chat number 5, where what is forwarded to Mr. Msibi is the document at page 314, which is that Northwest Transport Investments and Northwest Star, who are the Northwest bus companies who are using buses rented to by the joint venture between Transnational and Mr. Karim Ziggy Investments, are in arrears. They're not paying the joint venture, and so the joint venture is short on paying Mr. Msibi. And if we read this...
Just Gerson, when you say paying Mr. Msibi, you mean Santako?
Santako. Although at a later stage, it may be Mr. Msibi. We'll get to the later payments. At a later stage, sorry, what we see is quite extraordinary. The joint venture claims in paragraph 3 that the Northwest companies are indebted to it in an amount of 335 million. So this is a huge amount that Mr. Karim's joint venture is owed, or allegedly owed, by the Northwest. This issue in relation to payments drags on. And so at 279, we see a screenshot at the top. And the screenshot is a chat between the sender, who we have not yet identified, and Mr. Suleiman Paruk, who is saved as Sol Paruk. And there, the account that is given, or what the screenshot says is, Sol, Msibi accountant is asking whether we've paid his money, and now it's the accountant of Mr. Msibi is asking whether we, who is the sender, and Mr. Paruk have paid Mr. Msibi's money, and the address that is given is Tukofan Pty Limited.
Sorry, Mr. Chaswelson, maybe I missed it. You referred us to the screen grab, but you did not refer us to the pages.
Oh, sorry, 316. 316.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, please continue.
So that is an account is given for Tukofan Pty Limited, who must be paid. If we go to page 352, we see the win deed for Tukofan, and there we see that Tukofan was a company in respect of which Mr. Msibi himself was a director. But he is listed as deceased, and so he's no longer a director. But if we go down to page 353, we see that he was a director until 2024. So at the time of this correspondence, he was a director of Tukofan. We then see at page 279 that there's another payment notification shortly after that screenshot. So the screenshot was on the 1st of August, and on the 3rd of August, there is a screenshot of a payment notification. That payment is at page 317, and it reflects a payment of R1 million to Tukofan, which is Mr. Msibi's company. There is then an intersection of these chats with other chats that appear to be with Advocate Makosini Msibi, who was the CEO of the then he was then the CEO of the Road Traffic Management Corporation. And if we start at the 16th of August, at page 279, there is a video that is sent from the sender linked to the transnational Ziggy joint venture. That sender sends to Mr. Msibi at 9:14 p.m. a video of a crowd protesting. And if we can just play that video.
Mr. Chaskasini, you say this is with Mr. Makosini.
Not yet. That video will be forwarded to Mr. Makosini Msibi. This is a video that's sent to Mr. Jotham Msibi from the sender involved in transnational and Ziggy. Underneath the video, there is a chat number 5 on the 16th of August. Msobo said, I must phone you and send these videos. Now, if we go over to the chats with Advocate Makosini Nkosi.
So do we have any idea what this video is about, or is that going to be clear?
It's not entirely clear, but we think we think that we will, when we get to those chats, we'll get more clarity on it.
Okay, all right.
And you said Makosini Nkosi. You meant
Msibi.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes.
You took us to which page now? I'm sorry.
324.
324. Thank you.
And we see that on that same day, the 16th of August, 2022, from chat number 4, or chat number 5, there is a meeting between the two Msibis, Mr. Jotham Msibi and Advocate Makosini Msibi, at a restaurant in Sandton. And 4 days later, there is a message from Advocate Makosini and Nkosi to Msibi, to Mr. Msibi, saying, morning, Madiba, we'll wait for directives. Of concern is that our project indicates that she has the photo or visual that I sent to you was sent to her. That's why I want to avoid duplication. They picked up that everybody is there and threatened to charge for defeating the ends of justice. Can comrades retreat? This is under control, and we may put the investigating officer and prosecutor under pressure if everybody is all over. The issue of charging her has been taken care of. I have asked them to do so. They threatened one group with charging them with defeating the ends of justice that will affect me adversely. That's why I want to identify the blockage clearly, which will be clear by Monday afternoon. One should be mindful that the uncle is a police officer, and as many people can involve leakages, as many people are involved, leakages are unavoidable. And we may compromise the public prosecutor who has to close the case without any suspicions and close the aspect of possible charge of defeating the ends of justice and perjury as a way to intimidate the project. That's why I say leave it for now. It seems to me it's not clear which prosecutor will deal with it. The matter is with the provincial office. We don't know their program. They're the ones who got the withdrawal on Thursday, despite the claim by a number of people. They have their plan. Now, we haven't worked out what this is about, but it does seem that there is an attempt to interfere with prosecutions in relation to defeating the ends of justice here. And the very next message that Mr. Msibi sends to Advocate Msibi is Transnational Coachliner and Ziggy joint venture, which is sent, I mean, it's sent 2 weeks later on the 9th of September. But that is the message that his counterparty, that same message, has sent to him on the same day. So we see on the 9th of September, if we go back to 280, we see at the top of the page the counterparty who's been dealing with the contract, the transport contracts with Mr. Msibi and who has been forwarding proofs of payment to Mr. Msibi, sends that same one-line message with the misspelt Transnational Coach Lines and Ziggy joint venture on the 9th of September at 4 p.m. And Mr. Msibi forwards that to Advocate Makosini Msibi on page 326, almost immediately upon receiving it. We weren't ready to flight all of these exchanges yet because our investigations haven't actually got to the bottom of it, but there is definitely a connection to this joint venture with Mr. Msibi that we weren't aware of previously, and that prior to Mr. Matlala's arriving yesterday and saying that he saw Mr. Karim at Mr. Msibi's farm, we wouldn't have put the two together but for this connection.
So let's take a short adjournment. We'll indicate when we are ready.
that Ms. Nxumalo is one of the two directors of Camprock. And then from 371, there is a Mail and Guardian report which may have identified the Shane Adams as opposed to Sean Adams, who Jacobs, Shane Jacobs as opposed to Sean Jacobs. There was certainly a Shane Jacobs involved in a controversy relating to a security tender at Parliament. We can take it no further than there at the moment. The last issue that we will address is a series of chats between Mr. Msibi and a different Sean. And this is a Sean who was involved in what appears to be a dagga growing project of Mr. Msibi. And those chats start at page 222. And just to contextualize, this dagga growing project took place in factory premises in Germiston, and the company involved was called Jack Frost Pharmaceuticals. The chats which I would start with are at page 225, and there Sean writes to Mr. Msibi saying the following: "Afternoon, Chief. I know you're dealing with a lot and this is minor rubbish. But if you could get a chance, please send 2 of your guys to Germiston for me. I will meet them and point out who needs to be spoken to. My grow team is still getting watched. I can use my Congo guys, but I know your guys will create more fear in these people. Thanks, my brother." And so Sean seems to be saying he's worried that there are people snooping around his premises where he is growing his dagga, and he needs Mr. Msibi to send some people round essentially to scare them. Mr. Msibi says, "We'll deal with it, please, don't worry." We then, through the chats, get a sort of blow-by-blow account of the growth of the project. And so if we start at foot of 276, we see the beginnings of the growth in that little screenshot at the foot of page 276. The picture itself is at page 257.
267 maybe? You said 276.
Sorry. 226, 226. And the picture that is sent, you'll see in full at page 257. And then if we go back to 225 and just scroll down, what is happening is that each week Sean is sending updated photos so that the growth can be seen by Mr. Msibi. And it goes on, and the growth is quite spectacular. It reaches a point where Sean is able to send, I mean, if we go down to 233, for instance, and maybe if we look at the video at the top of page 236, which is 13th of March. Got those videos. What's that one first? And if we just keep scrolling, we see, we just see the growth of the project. My favorite is the next video that Sean sends, which is at, on the 22nd of April. So can we play that one? Because it comes with musical accompaniment. Oh, no, sorry. I'm a little bit early. That's on page, can we go to the next one? Not that one. Yeah. Yeah, keep playing. I've got to find mine. So we can see...
We definitely see why it's your favorite, Mr.
But the one cause for concern here is the document at page 268. And that is the license given to Jack Frost, and it's issued originally on 19th September 2022. So everything that we've looked at thus far is before this license was in effect. Now, it is possible that there was some other permit in place. We don't see it, and we are investigating whether that was the case. But what it seems like is that what we are looking at is production that took place before a license was issued, or certainly before this license was issued. We will be making inquiries to establish what the true state of affairs was. If it wasn't permitted, then this would be illegal cultivation of dagga, which would be a crime under the drugs, I forget what the Drugs Act is now called, those are the points that we are able to make at this point flowing from these chats. There are a number of issues that we need to follow up and clarify, both from what I've ventilated today and in relation to some material that I haven't ventilated today. We will do so as soon as we can, and if it's necessary to come back to any of these chats, we will do that. I apologize for the slightly haphazard nature of this presentation. It was sprung on us on quite short notice.
It actually flowed well, Mr. Shaskelson, and whatever misgivings you have are quite understandable under the circumstances, because this was last minute and not originally scheduled. It's understandable.
Just one last thing, Mr. Chaskalson, on this last installment, these plans, the picture that you are presenting, or that it looks like, is that Mr. Msibi with others, Jotham Msibi with others, it appears they were involved in the production, unlawful production of dagga. I've been told it's not called dagga. Whenever I've used that word, I've been told it's weed. That they were involved in the production of this unlawfully. That's a picture that he
Well, I don't want to say that categorically now, because there are. I have looked at the legislation, and it seems quite clear to me that one needs, this license purports to have been granted under, or not purports, has on its face been granted under section 22(1)(c) of the, 22(c)(1) of the Medicines and Related Substances Act. Now, there is a provision under section 19A that I don't think applies to manufacturers, and I think scale of this size is manufacturing scale, where you can get a permit which is not issued by the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, but is issued by an official of the Department of Health. I think it's the Director General, which may conceivably authorize the growing of dagga. I mean, we need to clarify with Jack Frost whether they assert any legitimate rights before we say that this was unlawful production. But prima facie, this license certainly didn't authorize it.
Mr. Chaskalson, certainly not in respect of Mr. Ali and his crew, but other people who are mentioned in the chats, the same way we did with Mr. Ngumalo, maybe, and I don't want to put you on the spot and force you to give an answer now, but consideration be given to them to explain what we see in the chats, either in the form of an affidavit or a short statement, just so that we don't just have your interpretation of the chats, but we have their version of what the chats are about, and we get the full picture.
We will do that.
So we've come to the end of
We have, Chair.
what we have today. Thank you, Mr. Chaskalson. Let's adjourn and resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Let's adjourn.